Hello, welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio. I'm April Perry. Today's episode is about why we throw things in the pile and how to stop flat surface disease. Here at Learn, Do, Become, we help people who are overwhelmed by the details of life to create simple systems so they can do what matters most. And one way I often explain what we do is by saying, we help people stop drowning in piles. So if you are just drowning in physical, mental, digital clutter, and you're jumping from pile to pile to pile, and you're thinking there's no way out of it, and if only you could get organized, it would all go away, but you need 1,000 hours, and you don't have 1,000 hours, and we'll show you how you can do it quickly and get that relief, because nobody wants to feel overwhelmed. Okay, so let's talk about the topic today. Do you find that you have a pile of stuff that you keep adding to, or maybe it's multiple piles of stuff? And the reason why you add to it is because you can't get that thing handled right away, right? I had a friend one time who said that she would put things in a pile and stack it higher and higher and higher until finally the pile would just fall over. She'd have to kind of make 2 piles instead. Like it got to the tipping point. So if you're thinking, yes, 100%, I know what that is like, then let's talk about how we can actually make it change. Now, I do know what it's like to change because I grew up with flat surface disease. We didn't have any surface in our home that was clear. I just grew up thinking if something was clear, you just put things on it, because otherwise, what was the point of having all this space? I had a bedroom with a desk full of stuff, a chair draped with clothes, every surface, shelf, everything just had things on it, even around the whole perimeter of my bedroom. There was like a little walking path in my room, but otherwise it was usually just full. And in our main areas, we had a piano. We'd all put stuff on the piano. We had a dining room table. We'd cover it up with stuff. Even the mantle of the fireplace was covered with stuff. And we just had boxes and things everywhere. My mom would laugh because she had this dresser in her room that was just the catch-all. And whenever we'd come home from school and hand her something and say, hey, Mom, we need you to look at this paper or something. Where should I put it? And she'd say, on my dresser. And then we laugh because we knew that was the pit where nothing would ever come back. There's no way you'd put it on the dresser if you had hope of her seeing it. And so anyway, that's how I grew up. And then when Eric and I got married, we would just move piles around all the time. He would go to work and I would move all his piles so I could do stuff during the day. And then he'd get home and say, where are my piles? And I would say, oh, I put them XYZ, in the bedroom, in whatever. And then he'd say, can you just leave things where they are? And I would say, you're gone all day and I need to do stuff. And anyway, that was not fun. It wasn't great for anyone. So that's my little background there. I just didn't know there was any other way. I would have changed if I'd known, and I didn't. And finally I learned though. So today I'm going to show you an exciting alternative and help you to make that change so you'll never have piles again. And I want you just to pause and ask yourself, how would my life change if I didn't have any piles in my life at all? How would it feel if when you woke up in the morning, there's no piles anywhere around your bed? As you walked into the kitchen, counters are clear, everything's where it should go. Maybe some dishes are dry, from the night before, so you're putting stuff away, but everything's kind of clean, or is clean. And you go in your bathroom and the vanity area is just clear. And you go in your closet and everything's hung up and everything fits and nothing needs to be ironed or mended. And you just kind of walk around your house, go in your office, open up your computer, and your emails are pretty much at 0 or just a few from the day before. And you just feel really calm working on the things you need to do. That's a reality that I have today, but I didn't even know it existed when I was growing up. And if you're ready to make that change, you're ready to wake up excited and go to bed content, you're ready to feel calm, you're ready to find what you need within a few seconds notice, and you can just breathe, that is what I'm here to do for you. I want to just go through the big picture. I'm going to share just 5 steps that we walk through in order to put things in a pile and then reap the consequences of it. Okay, so I'm just going to explain 1 through 5. I actually drew a little diagram on my notes, but I'll just explain it for the sake of the podcast. So number 1, you have an item that requires action. Okay. Number 2, you can't do it right now or right at that moment because there are multiple facets. You maybe need to make a decision Maybe there's multiple tasks involved. Maybe it's not time for it right now. You need to wait for a later date. And maybe there are other people who are involved that need to be asked or, delegated or consulted or whatever. Okay, so that's number 2. You just can't do it. Number 3 is you end up putting it in the pile because you hope that either it will go away or that you'll feel like doing it later, or you'll remember to do it later at the appropriate time. Then number 4, the pile just grows and grows, and it starts to feel too convoluted to even look at it, because now instead of that one thing, you have 80 things. And then when you look at the pile, your brain is trying to discern what needs to happen when. And if all of them have multiple tasks or, decisions or other people involved or whatever, now if there are 80 things in a pile and there's 4 things involved with each one, not 320 different things that your brain is trying to process all at the same time, and it feels like too much. So you just go get a snack, or you go watch TV, or you go do something else, and you just avoid the pile. And then number 5 is you either ignore the pile for a long, long time and you suffer consequences, because then you're going to forget something, you won't pay a bill, you won't show up to something that you wanted to attend. Something's going to happen because things in the pile were important, or you wouldn't have put them there to begin with. Or you end up digging through the pile like a mad person trying to find what you need before certain deadlines. Like, oh my gosh, I think there's something in here, a prescription for these glasses I had to get for so-and-so, and there's a coupon and it expires sometime this month or whatever. And you're digging, and then you just feel frustrated, right? So what if we could change what happens between step 2 and 3? Instead of, oh, there's multiple facets, let me put it in the pile, we say, hey, there's multiple facets here. Why don't I effortlessly integrate this into my step command central so everything is handled, there's no more piles, my brain can relax, and it will come back to me when I need it. That's what I want for you. So I'm just going to share 3 examples of multifaceted things that would typically have ended up in a pile for me. And I'm going to share what you actually do with it using the Step Command Central. Now, when I say Step Command Central, that is our system. It has 15 components. They're not a secret. I share them all the time. You can go to our website, or I'll even link in the show notes. We have a little 15-question quiz that walks through what the Command Central is and what the purpose of each part is. And you can learn, and we have a free training. Like we teach this everywhere, so it's not a secret. We do have a program called Steps to Everyday Productivity, where you can learn how to build it quickly and get coaching and have community and get results, and people are getting results super fast. But it's not a secret what's part of it. So what I'm going to do is, as I explain these 3 multifaceted, items, I'm going to explain the parts of the Command Central that pertain to that item. And if you want to learn more, come to the website and you can click around and go to our YouTube channel. You can see all the great stuff we have explaining how it works. Okay, so case study number 1. My son needed a label printed to return a hard drive he'd purchased online. And he had to send it back within something like 15 days. And he sent me the email and said, hey, Mom, can you print this for me? He doesn't live with us. Can you print this for me so I can return it? Now, our printer was broken, but we had a new one that was coming the next day. And so I knew, oh yeah, we could just print it, give it to him. Now, we could have asked a different neighbor. I could have said, hey, sorry, can't do it. Why don't you go ahead and just take it to a store and pay to print there or whatever. So there are clearly options. But in this case, I'm like, yeah, not a big deal. We can totally help. So first of all, what I did is I made a little calendar reminder for the next day, once we had the printer delivered, to print out this item, okay? Then, once you do that, like I had 2 items that I needed to handle. I had an email from him with that, the little label, and I had a box, that he needed to put the label on that was in our house, okay? So those both went into what we could just call support materials. So with email, I just have a folder where I put those kinds of things. I put it in the folder. And then the box, we have, typically when I talk about support materials, I'm talking about my cubbies that I use, which I love. But the box wouldn't fit in the cubbies. So I also have like a shelf, and we have another place downstairs for kind of our older kids' stuff, the ones that don't live with us. So we have a little spot where we can let things sit while we're waiting for them to come over or waiting, for something. So support materials can include a shelf, a closet, a special area designated for items related to things you're moving forward on. It's not a storage shelf like, long-term filing. It's more like, hey, these are active support material shelves. I have one in my closet, and anytime I have something, I need to write a thank you note about this, or I need to process this, or, our daughter's coming next week and she needs this thing that was mailed, I just keep it right there in my closet, and that's really easy. Just go in and grab it, and I know where it is, and no one's messing with it. And then once I did see that calendar reminder, we did have our printer up and working. We printed out the label, we put it on the box. Now, this is my son's job, was have it on his errands list to go return it. Okay. So what happened was, as soon as that request came in, I didn't say, I'll think about it tomorrow. No. I had to write it down so I knew it would come back to me, put the things where they belong so I could find them easily, right? That just enables my brain to rest, because I'm not thinking, I need to remember this tomorrow. Because you might think, but I'll remember it. It's fine. Yeah, you might, but that's also taking up your mental bandwidth. So when you have 80 of those things, then your brain feels overwhelmed. You're going to drop probably at least a few balls, and you're not going to feel present and relaxed and capable of taking more on, because your brain is trying to hold too much. Does that make sense? Okay, second item, or little second case study. We had some tax documents that Eric and I needed to review about an investment we made. So we got an email that had all of these, this PDF attached or something. It's like, actually you had to log in to go get the tax documents, and we need to review them. So first, we have a routine where Eric and I do our weekly planning together. It's on a certain day at a certain time, and sometimes it has to be rescheduled, but typically we just do this weekly meeting. So on the agenda for that meeting, I just have a little reminder of anything I need to talk to him about. So I'll say, okay, we're going to talk about these tax documents. All right. Or if you don't have a regular meeting, you could have a to discuss item on your next actions list. That's a weekly list organized by where you are when you're getting it done. So I have a little heart that means to discuss with Eric. And whenever there's something that I need to talk to him about, I just add it to that little list. Then when we have time to sit down or we're doing our weekly meeting, I can just bring it right up. Then when I did talk to him about it, he said, hey, can you just print it out and have it ready so we can go over it? Great. So I logged in, I downloaded it, printed it, and then we have support materials. That's where I use my cubbies. And I have a finance folder in my home cubby. I'm going to stick it in there. And I also will always reference the items on my task list. Like, we're going to talk about these tax documents. Where are they? I'll put cubby or something like that. Just a little note so I know where to find it. Okay, so easy. And then the final case study, I got this free trial for a yoga online lesson kind of thing. And it was a friend of mine who was doing it. And I thought, this sounds really fun. So she said, okay, I'll give you a free trial for a week and then see what you think of it. So first of all, when I got it, I really did want to do the yoga because it looked like a great class. And so I put it on my calendar to do yoga on certain mornings. That way I have it as a calendar event. I won't forget. Then I needed to have my support materials to do yoga, and that includes things like my yoga mat. It's like a Google Drive link, so I needed to have my computer next to a big screen that we have right by my room, so I could do yoga right there. And so those support materials are not things like papers, right, or emails. Those are physical items, but I wanted to make sure that they were handy, accessible. I had all the plugs I needed or whatever ready to go, so I could do the yoga. And then I did just create another little reminder just to follow up with my friend that following week, because maybe she's going to remember to reach out to me and maybe not. And I could just say, I'll wait till she reaches out. But sometimes I like to be a little more proactive. So that's the idea, is that with this label we needed printed, these tax documents, and this yoga free trial, instead of all those things just sitting in a pile, like waiting for maybe someday when it sounded fun to go through them, or missing the deadline to even return the hard drive, they're just handled and it feels really simple. The trick is just to help our brains to know that we will see the item and we will do the necessary action at the right time. And that is what stops the piles. Then there's no need to go throw it in the pile. Now, if you're brand new, come to our show notes page or go to learndobecome.com/step for a free training. And if you want to just come to the show notes page and leave a comment and let me know what's sitting in your piles, like what is it that you've put in a pile, because there's multifacets, and maybe let me know what you think you would do with it based on what you're learning here at Learn, Do, Become. I know flat surface disease is frustrating, but it 100% can go away. If I can do it, you can do it. I knew nothing other than flat surface disease. That was my default. And now I have no piles. And it's not because I'm magic. It's just because I learned a system. Okay, we're so happy you're here with us. Thank you so much. And we'll see you soon at learndobecome.com.